And then that went on until I was near 17. And then one day my brother said to me, "Why don't you go and get something to do, not go mooning about the place?" So I couldn't think of anything I could do, but he said he'd been down Victoria Street and he had looked in a great big shop window there, and there they had some sort of little machine, and some ladies were working this machine, and he understood they were called typewriters. And he said if I went round there and found out, see what they were doing, because it said in the window, "Students taken." So I went round one morning, and this very nice owner interviewed me and said, what did I want to do? And I said I'd like to come and see, and if I could learn to do what she was doing, which was typing. And I'd only been there about 4 or 5 months, and she put me on the staff, and I received this big sum of 8 shillings a week. This is the typewriter I used to sit in the window with and type on, and the crowds outside used to be still looking, all waiting to see what I was doing. And after a time, some of the offices started having typewriters and engaging girls as their sort of clerks.
A whole new world was opening up for women. But in the 1890s, many young Victorians were still living sheltered lives. Berta Ruck was at a girls' school in North Wales.
The headmistress at the school had me up. She said, "You are an indolent and feckless girl. You are drawing in your exercise book when you ought to be concentrating on your work. Because, child, what are we put into this world for?" And I looked at her and said, "Sometimes I don't think any of us know." And she looked at me, and in that moment there was contact between us. Strange. But she immediately became the headmistress and said, "To prepare, dear, prepare for what we are going to do." And of course I didn't know what I was going to do. I went on being a feckless and indolent girl, and presently when I left school my father said, "I don't know what we shall do with Berta. She wouldn't be any use, Berta wouldn't be any use at anything but drawing. She had better go somewhere where they talk about drawing all the time and are drawing and nothing but drawing. She'd better go to London." So I went.
And she found lodgings with an aunt in Lambeth. She went to the School of Art there, and later to the Slade. This was the London she found.
Mud everywhere. Of course, hansom cabs slurring through the mud, and where there wasn't mud there was fog, and in between was us enjoying ourselves. But I do remember the buses of that time. The great thing was to get in front by the driver, where you had a lovely view on the street and everything as you went by. Everybody wore hats, of course. Over their profuse underclothes, which was still the go, they wore long skirts and had to be held up out of the mud. But of course we spent hours, when I think of the hours we spent brushing our skirts. Of course they had underneath a dreadful thing called, what was it? It was the braid under the skirt, which was sort of horsehair, and it was supposed to take up all the mud, but it didn't. We were very often mud to our knees spattered, and that had to be brushed off, of course, before we went out again. Hours we spent over that. There was, of course, that was a sort of time that nowadays is spent gaily in looking at the telly and all that sort of thing, but ours was spent in brushing our skirts and also in darning our stockings, because we had woolen stockings that were used to wear into holes, and those, of course, we had to darn. Hours we spent. And at 10 o'clock, by which time I was in bed and my gas was out, I used to hear, "Time, gentlemen, time, time, time now," and out would stream cockneys who had been enjoying themselves, you see, until 10 o'clock when they were outed, and they used to come along the gutter, some of them holding the others up, and singing songs which I embedded in my memory. Do you think I might dare to sing one of them now? One of them was called "She May Have Known Better Days When She Was in Her Prime." She may have known better days once upon a time, when by the roadside she fell. Oh, never possible, some poor old mother is waiting for her, who has known better days. You would get a